Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Titus, and um and I want to share about my nationalities. So here we go. Okay, so on my last video I did share that I am a Pacific Islander, a European, and an Asian. But okay, so the peop so if you're wondering what kind of Pacific Islander I am, I'm okay, so I'm from the island of Guam, and I'm known as and um and the people of Guam are known as Guamanians, but they're also called Chamorros. So yeah, so I'm Chamorro, and I'm also part Hungarian, and I'm part Japanese, and I'm part Indian. So okay, so if you're wondering how do I, okay, so most people don't really know what they are because they don't know what they're part of. So they have big, so some of them they like take a DNA test to see what kind of nationality blood they have in them. But for me, I don't have to take a DNA test because I know what nationality I am. I'm Chamorro, Hungarian, Indian, and Japanese. And both of my parents are Chamorro, but my dad, he's Chamorro, um, Hungarian and Indian, and my mom, she's Chamorro and Japanese. And so I get my Japanese blood from my mom's side, and I get my Hungarian and Indian blood from my dad's side. So so my dad so my dad's dad, which is my grandfather, he's half Hungarian, half Indian, and my grandmother, she is Chamorro. And 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 let's see, and my grandmother, which is my mom's mom, and my grandmother from my mom's side, and my grandfather, well, my grandmother from my mom's side is half Chamorro, half Japanese, and my grandfather is pure Chamorro. So yeah, I'm more of a Pacific Islander, but I still have Hungarian blood in me, and I'm proud of. And and for me, I don't see how more of a Pacific Islander I am because I don't usually act like a Pacific Islander. Yeah, I because I mostly act like an American, because but I was raised, but I grew up, but I grew up my own culture. I grew up the Chamorro way, and usually in the Chamorro, in the Chamorro culture, whenever we attend parties, and we share our food to people, and when we're gonna respect older people, we omit we kiss them on the cheeks, on the cheek. And for us, we say come in amen this one, but in Chamorro we but in the Chamorro language, we say come in fangingi. We use the word fangingi. Fangingi means to amen this person. And so yeah, and so we do that to amen older people, or we just grab their hand and go like this. And yeah, that's another sign of respect to Chamorros. And yeah, so here, I'll show you. Here's my hand, and you grab the person's hand and you go like this. And that is the sign of respect of Chamorros. So that's my Chamorro culture that I just shared. So and my Hungarian culture, well, oh yeah, and my traditional Chamorro food is red rice, barbecue ribs with 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 soaked in soy sauce and onions, and and chicken kelaguen, which is a dish that's mixed with shredded chicken, shredded coconut, and peppers. Yeah. So those are my chamorro dishes. And my and in my Hungarian side, well, my traditional Hungarian food, so our traditional hung so my traditional Hungarian food is Hungary so with Hungarian food, they like to put paprika on in their dishes. So their traditional food is Hungarian paprika potatoes and Hungarian paprika chicken. And and if you're wondering how I know and I don't know that much of my Indian ancestors or my Hungarian ancestors or my Japanese ancestors, but I've heard of them, and I do follow them on Instagram, but I don't follow my but I don't think I follow my but I don't think I follow my Japanese relatives on Instagram. But so yeah, I do know my Hungarian relatives' names. I have one who's Zolfi, one who is Peter, and I have one who is Zolfi, one who is Peter, and one is Maria. And I forgot the others, but those are the only three Hungarian relatives I know. And 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 my and Zolfi, she is my aunt, and she lives in Portugal, and she is Hungarian. And Peter, he is my uncle, and he lives in Germany. And 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 Maria and I have and the one that lives in Hungary, which is Maria, I think she's my aunt. Yeah, I think she's my aunt, and her name is Maria. And 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 I do know a couple of my of so yeah, those are my Hungarian relatives I know. and and I also know like a few of m and I also know like a few of my Japanese relatives, but I don't know their names. But I know a few of them that are half Japanese though, because on my mom's side I am a Fujikawa. Fujikawa is a Japan Fujikawa is a Japanese name. So yeah, and it was and that last name was carried by my great grandfather from my mom's side, which is my grandfather Masayoshi Fujikawa. He's pure Japanese. And I've heard of him, but he died way before I was born. But I also know a few of but I also have like a few of also know a few of my Fuji family. They're all a part Japanese. So yeah, I they are but they're Chamorros, but they're also a part Japanese. And I so I own those are the only relative Japanese relatives I know, but they're not pure Japanese. They're only half. But but I but I did hear about about my pure Japanese relatives, but I don't know their names. And so with the Japanese culture, they so the Japanese traditional food is sushi and miso soup, but in Japanese they call it miso shiru. And and when they and usually when the Japanese are gonna are before when they're gonna eat their food, they put their hands together and they say this word called itadakimasu. Itadakimasu means we appreciate the food. Yeah, so that's what it means. So if you are Japanese and if you really want to do and if you want to do a Japanese culture like thanking for your food before you eat your food, you can just say itadakimasu. 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 That is how the Japanese say we appreciate the food in Japanese. And and with and with the Indian and with the so now onto the Indian culture. So Indians, they like to wear a lot of saris, and they and their traditional food is chicken curry and fish curry. Yeah, they like to make curry in a lot of dishes. And I but I don't know any of my Indian ancestors because they go by first name, and you know I don't and you know I don't I don't and you know I don't know my Indian last I don't know which one is my Indian name, but the only Indian ancestor I know, which is my great grandmother, her name was Esther, and she's pure Indian, but she died way before I was born. So those are my nationalities. So I am part Chamorro, part Japanese, part Indian, part Hungarian, and I am proud to be all of them because I and it means a lot, and these nationalities really mean a lot to me, and I hope to visit Japan and Hungary and and India, and I did grew up in Guam, and that's why I mostly know my Chamorro relatives, but I want to get to know my Hungarian relatives and my Japanese relatives and my Indian relatives. But hopefully I get to find out someday and meet them. So I'm gonna close the vlog now, and if you guys and I really hope you guys enjoyed what I was sharing. And if you guys are brand new to this channel, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on YouTube videos I post. And I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.